verb in the last class, and rule number 1, the basic rule, is just over, and we discussed rule number 2 also. So what is a subject according to the grammarians? As you all know, subject, it can be a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. Normally the position of a subject is in the beginning of a sentence, and as you all know, subject is the focus of a sentence, or the person or a thing that is doing an action in a sentence is said to be the subject of a sentence. These were the 3 points we discussed in the last class about subject. I repeat, a subject is said to be the doer of an action. This can be a noun or a pronoun in the beginning of a sentence, and that is doing an action in a sentence, or this is said to be the attention or the focus of a sentence. Okay, this is said to be the subject of a sentence. Again, we explained what are verbs. I said verbs are the action words. The subject, what the subject does, that is said to be the action, and that actions, it has 4 forms in English grammar. It has a present form, it has a past form, it has a past participle form, present participle form. Based on these forms, we can call it as tenses, time of actions. Okay, that is also over. Now, rule number, the basic rule, the most important rule regarding the subject verb concord. The topic subject verb agreement or subject verb concord, it has a basic rule. As once I started discussing about the subject verb agreement, I said this is the most important rule that you need to keep in your mind, because if the sentence is starting with a singular subject, it follows, or you can see the presence of a singular verb after a singular subject. Okay, except I and you. Okay, with I and you must use have. The auxiliary verb have can only be used with subject I and subject you, even if it is labeled as a singular subject also in a sentence. Like, and I have to say that along with I, you can use only am. You cannot use is, right? Keep all these points in your mind. And again, I said, if the subject is plural, there is no other way. You must use a plural subject. And this point, the basic rule is very clear with the picture. Here you can see a single bird. Okay, a single hummingbird is here. So along with the single word, we have to use flies. Singular verb. How to change a verb singular? By adding s, es or ies at the end. You can change a verb into singular. See, even if we are talking about in terms of noun, okay, noun, bird is singular, but its plural form is birds. Okay, bird is singular. By adding s, we can make a noun plural. Just opposite is happening in verbs, because verb, the base form is plural. By adding s, es or ies with the base form, you can change a verb into its singular form. In the case of I, after I, this is an exceptional case, you must use only the base form of the verb, even if it is a present tense. Clear? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Birds fly in the sky. Plural noun. It takes base form of the sentence or the word or the verb. So it is said to be the plural form of the verb. Now we discussed rule number 2 in the last class. I said 2 singular nouns, if it is connected using a conjunction and, it requires a plural verb. Gold is one metal, silver is another metal. So gold, a singular noun, is connected with silver, another singular noun, using a conjunction and, so it requires a plural verb. Fire is one thing, water is another thing. So fire and water. So we are connecting fire, a singular noun, with water, another singular noun, using and. So here I can use it as do, because do is a plural form. He, third person singular pronoun. I, first person singular pronoun. So third person pronoun is connected with first person pronoun. He is one person, he. It can be Adhigesh. I, this can be Anjumas, right? So Adhigesh and Anju are 2 different persons, right? So he and I are connected using and the expression. So it should follow, or I should use only a plural verb after that. This is what we discussed in the last class. What about this rule? Do we have discussed this in the last class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, rule number 2b. This rule number 2b is just said to be the extension of rule number 2. Okay, but there is a small change. See, children, according to rule number 2b, 2a, it says that one singular noun is connected with another singular noun using and. We have to, or it requires a it requires a plural verb, it was said. But here, if the singular nouns connected by and or connected with and, if these nouns are a compound nouns or which gives us one single idea to our mind, we cannot even think it separate. In that case, we can use only a singular verb after these words. Okay, rise and fall of the tide. So the tide, once it is rising up, means it has to come down. So when we think about a tide, we are not thinking it as rising up in the position of rising up. We are actually thinking in the position, or we are actually thinking it as going up and coming down, right? There is a movement. We can see the movement in our inside mind, right? So we can consider it as one single idea, and there we should use only a singular verb. This is what we discussed in the last class. I think so, right? What about this one?
Also said rule 3.
Rule 3 also. Okay, very good. So now let us revise rule number 3. When a singular noun or pronoun is connected with another noun or pronoun by using the expressions. These were the expressions I said. Expressions like with, as well as, besides, together with, no less than, another similar expression. See, it is very easy to identify the verb. Suppose if your sentence is starting with a subject, then after the subject, if you see a comma and there is an extension of the subject, again a comma. So within the commas, you can see the extension of the subject. You don't want to consider this extension, just strike it out. Now what remains? Extension can be removed because these are within a comma. This is used for talking about or to give an extended idea about the subject. So we don't want this thing. So what remains here? Only the shop remains, right? So shop is singular, so we have to use a singular form. This is an idea. This is how you should find out your sentence. Now, look at the second sentence, exactly the same. The ship with its crew. Ship is the subject, with the screw is written with using brackets. So this is an extension to the subject. So this is not required. This is not necessary, or let us not consider the extension. We need to think only about the ship. The ship is singular, so I can use a singular verb. Okay, now as well as. Look at the expression as well as. If you find a sentence with as well as, what you want to do is you keep the first subject there and just strike out the words right from as well as up to the verb. Okay, so silver as well as gold, it's just removed. So what remains? Silver remains. Look at the position. Silver is whether singular or plural?
Singular.
It is singular. So there you should use only a singular verb. Am I clear? Whenever you see the as well as, you can do this method. Okay, just cut off. Now the father as well as the sons. So we need to cut right from as well as. As well as, we are actually removing as well as up to the verb. So what remains? The father remains. Okay, the father is singular, then you can use a singular verb. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So just think about the extension within the brackets. Just think about the as well as usage and find your answer. Okay, I'm talking here, silver is singular. That is why I have used singular verb. If it is plural, there is another method. Okay, I'll teach you that. Clear? Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Rule number 3, whether it is clear or not. Sridev, is it clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so try to recollect everything. Rule number 3, if your sentence, when a singular noun or a pronoun is connected with another noun or pronoun by using the words like with, as well as, besides, together with, no less than, other similar expression, remember you can use only a singular verb there. Okay, am I clear? Okay, now rule number 4. This is important. You may get a lot of questions using this. Even in the 10th standard, I have seen the use of neither nor, either or. See, as you all know, either or and neither nor are also coming under the category called conjunctions, right? You're familiar with either or and neither nor. Here it talks about choices. Here it talks about options. Okay, so two singular subject. I'm talking about two singular subject connected by or, choice, either or, again choice, neither nor, again choice, require a singular verb. Look at the examples, children. My aunt, one person, or my uncle. So we have a choice. My aunt or my uncle. Both are not arriving. Only one person is arriving. Okay, so there is a choice. If uncle is coming, auntie won't come. If aunt is coming, uncle won't come. Okay, any one of these two persons is coming. Okay, only one person is coming. Not both are not coming here. So my aunt or my uncle. These two singular nouns are connected with or the expression. So I have to prefer only is, because both are not coming. Only one is arriving by train today. So two singular subject. If it is connected by or, either or neither nor, the verb should be singular in form. Now look at the second example. Neither Ben nor Nina is available. They both are not available. No option. Nina is not available. At the same time, this Ben is also not available. Neither nor is a negative word. Okay, neither nor is a negative word. So neither Ben, that means Ben is not available. Nina is not available. Neither Ben nor Nina is available. One singular noun is connected with another singular noun using neither nor the expression. So we have to prefer only a singular verb after that. Now, example number 3, using either or, the same rule. Look at here, children, either Mia or Mary. Options. Out of these two persons, only one. Okay. Mia is helping today. If she is not willing, Mary is helping today. Okay, only one person is helping anyway today with the stage decoration. If Mia is there for doing the stage decoration, Mary won't be available. If Mary is there, means Mia won't be doing that. Okay, only one person. So there is a choice. So one only doing. So we need to consider only one. So we can use only one singular verb over there. So either Mia or Mary is helping today with the stage decoration. So children, look at here. One singular noun is connected with another singular noun using the expression either or, then you have to use a singular verb. Keep this in your mind. This is rule number 4. According to rule number 4, it says that two singular subjects connected by or, either or neither nor require a singular verb. I repeat, my aunt or my uncle is arriving by train today. Only one person. If aunt is coming, uncle won't be coming. If uncle is coming, aunt won't be there. So only one person. There is a choice. We can see only one person arriving by train today. Neither nor is a negative word. Both are not available there. Again, the third one, either or, that is connected, that is used for connecting two singular nouns. So it requires a singular verb in the sentence. Rule number 5. This is so nice to see. I know that this is familiar. Even the sentence is very familiar for you children. Rule number 5. So this is also, this is an extension of rule number 4. I said in rule number 4, two singular subjects. I repeat, two singular subject. If it is connected using either or, neither nor or, it requires a singular verb. If two singular subjects, I am again underlining the concept two singular subject. If two singular subject connected with or, either or neither nor, it requires a singular verb. But suppose if one is singular, the other one is plural, then what to do? That is explained here in rule number 5. The verb in an or, either or neither nor sentence, the verb agrees with the noun or pronoun closest to it. Closest to it means closest to the verb. Let us see the two examples written on the board. These two examples are neither the plates. Neither the plates. The plates here is plural in form, nor the serving bowl. One is singular. So you can see that one plural subject is connected to a singular subject using neither nor. So here I cannot jump and I cannot jump into, or I cannot come into a conclusion to use a singular verb. That is wrong, because here I have to consider the noun closest to the verb. Okay, here the noun closest to the verb is the serving bowl, and that is singular in form. So if that is singular in form, the verb should be singular. Okay, look at the second sentence. Neither the serving bowl. This is singular in form, nor the plates. This is plural in form. So one singular noun is connected to a plural noun using neither nor the expression. So here one is singular, one is plural. So I should consider the noun closest to the verb. So here the noun closest to the verb is plural in form. So I have to use only a plural verb after the subjects. Am I clear?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
using either or and neither nor, you have two rules. First rule, if two singular nouns or two singular subjects are connected, I repeat, if two singular subjects are connected, or it is used, or just for combining using or, neither nor or either or. If it is two singular subject, then you can go for using a singular verb, no doubt. But at the same time, if these connecting words are used to connect one singular noun with a plural noun, then there you have to consider the noun closest to the verb. If the noun closest to the verb is singular, then the verb should be singular. If the noun closest to the verb is plural, then you can go for using a plural verb. Am I clear?
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I clear, children?
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
good. Very good. Okay, let me share again rule number 5 over rule number 6. Rule number 6. So here, use a singular verb with distances, periods of time, sums of money when considered as a single unit. I repeat, if the sums of money explained in the sentence, if the distance is discussed in the sentence, if the period of time discussed in the sentence gives one single idea. There was a question raised by Isha in the last class. Ma'am, there is a problem, ma'am. Ma'am, you said Tom and Jerry are my favorite cartoon characters. Can I use the same word is stuck? Can I use is there? Why I can't use is there, ma'am? So the question was raised by Isha in the last session. So there was a discussion regarding this is and are usages, because my sentence, I said Tom and Jerry are my favorite cartoon characters, right? I'm talking about Tom and Jerry, Tom the cat. I'm talking about Jerry the mouse separate. I'm not thinking, or I'm not considering it as one single thing, right? I'm not considering them as a title. But Isha, to an extent, she is also right, because she asked me, ma'am, Tom and Jerry is a name of a cartoon. If that is the case, there you can use is. But my sentence was Tom and Jerry are my favorite cartoon characters. I'm talking about the characters. Tom as a cat and Jerry as a mouse, and they were friends, right? So two animals I'm talking about. So there I have to use are. But Isha asked a question, if it is a title. If it is title, I have to use the sentence like this. Tom and Jerry is my favorite cartoon. I cannot say cartoon characters, right? Is my favorite cartoon. So there is a small correction. So exactly the same, if you use a plural in form and the noun a plural in form, but in usage it is singular, there you have to use a singular verb. Suppose the period of time, the sum of money. Okay, if it gives us one single idea, then we have to use only a singular verb. Suppose $10 are all scattered everywhere in this classroom. Okay, $10 are scattered. I said scattered, right? Scattered means it gives our mind that it is all over here and there, right? $10 are all flying here and there in this classroom, right? Yes or no? So there the idea is scattered. Okay, it is a scattered idea. So we cannot think it as a single unit. So there we need to use a plural noun, sorry, plural verb. But if $10 is a huge sum to pay, there I'm talking about $10 as a single unit. Okay, it is a single unit of money. So I can use only a singular noun. Suppose we don't want to talk about dollars as we are Indians. Let us talk about rupees, right? 100 rupees. How much for this shirt? 100 rupee. Are you thinking it as 1 or 2 or 100 1 coins or 10 rupee coins? How much for this shirt? You need to pay 100 rupees. So what registering in your mind? Are you thinking it as different amount or are you thinking it as a single unit of money for that shirt?
Ma'am, a single unit.
Definitely it is a single unit, right? I need to pay 100 rupee not to get that, or I need to pay an amount, a single amount 100 rupee that is fixed, right? I cannot even bargain because I am in a mall and that is fixed. The price is fixed, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? So that is a single unit that is giving my mind, or that is registering in my mind that that is a single unit of money. So there I should have to 100 rupee is the amount said by said to me by that particular shopkeeper. I have to pay 100 rupee there and I have to get the t-shirt from him, right? So that is a single unit of money. Suppose I have another sentence for you. 5 years is the maximum sentence for that offense. What do you mean by the word sentence?
A period of
Imprisonment.
punishment.
No other meaning. Imprisonment. Punishment. Imprisoned. Okay, it is just is equal to that sentence here is not a sentence like subject, verb, object. It is here, it means that this is a punishment. This is actually an imprison that I'm going to get for 5 years for my cruelty or my crime, right? So there 5 years is not, it is, even if it is a period of time, but that punishment is a correct, unique, or I can say that it is one single unit of punishment, right? Though it is a period of time, I have to be there in the prison for 5 years. So it gives one single idea to my mind, right? So I have to use a singular subject, sorry, singular verb over there. Now look at again. See, 3 miles is too far to walk. 3 miles is too far to walk. Okay, so when I start, I have to travel 25 kilometers one side. I'm coming in, or I'm actually riding my bike every day and I'm coming in my bike. See, when you use the term ride, you have to attach ride with the auto rickshaw ride, scooter ride, bicycle ride. If you use drive, that can be attached with cars and big vehicles more than 3 wheels. Okay, the all others you have to say that I'm riding a bike. I'm not driving a bike. I'm actually riding my bike. Use hereafter you use ride with bike, drive with car. Okay, so children, so I am every day I'm coming, I'm come out in the sense I'm coming and going using my bike, and 25 kilometers one side. So in a day in a day 50 kilometers that I'm traveling. Come out to coming to school and come out going back to home also. Okay, 50 kilometers every day traveling. Okay, so in that case, see children, that 25 kilometer is a single unit of distance, right? Because from my home to the working place, I need to travel 25 kilometers. Okay, I'm not pausing in between. I'm not even watching any sceneries. I'm not taking rest. At a stretch, 25 kilometers I'm traveling to be here in the school in the morning. Evening also, I am traveling 25 kilometers back to my home. Altogether 50 kilometers, right? So that 25 kilometer is a fixed kilometers or a distance, right? So that is giving one single idea to my mind. So there I have to use a singular verb. I cannot go for using a plural verb. Am I clear? Is the concept clear for you? If it is not clear, tell me, I'll repeat. Should I repeat?
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely. So look at the sentence. Rule number 6. Rule number 6, don't go into too much inside. Just see only the sentences. Okay. Use a singular verb with distance. I said I need to travel 25 kilometers at a stretch. Once I start from my home, I'm traveling 25 kilometers continuously for reaching the school. Okay, so those 25 kilometers are actually considered as a single duration, or it is a single distance, right? In the morning 25 kilometers, in the evening 25 kilometers. So the morning 25 kilometers is a fixed distance which gave one single idea to my mind, or it is considered as a single unit. Okay, unit of distance. So there I have to use only one singular verb. Whereas, which is talking about the sum of money. See, $10 is a high price to pay. I said, if $10, it is scattered all over here. If the sentence says the $10 scattered everywhere in this room, it gives an idea that it is all scattered. It is not a single unit, right? It is scattered, spread everywhere, right? So which gives not a single idea. But if I say $10, should I should pay $10 for this t-shirt, means, or this table, or this what stylus pen, means I'm considering it as single unit of money, single sum of money. So there I should use a singular verb. Okay. And now again, the period of, or the period of time. I said no, 5 years is the maximum sentence for this offense. I have done something wrong. Okay. I was taken to the court. The judge said this person has done such a crime, so she should be in the prison for 5 continuous years. In between, I cannot come and visit my family, right? I should take the punishment for 5 years. I should be there in the in the prison. Okay. So children, so this 5 year is a period of time, and this give one single idea, or this is talking about a single unit. So there I should use only a singular verb. Now am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Lakshmi.
Yes, ma'am.
Rule number 7. You're all familiar with the collective nouns in English grammar, right? You're all familiar with the collective nouns. What are the collective nouns, children? What are the collective nouns? Can you give me some examples of collective nouns used in English?
School of fish.
School of fish.
A fleet of ships.
Fleet of ships.
Pride of lions.
Pride of lions.
Bunch.
Bunch of keys and bunch of grapes.
Bouquet of flowers.
Bouquet of flowers. Then what
Band
else?
of musicians.
A team of players.
Louder.
Band of musicians.
Band of musicians. Excellent. Then
A team of players.
a team of players. Okay.
A library of books.
The library of books. Then,
A horde of zombies.
oh my God, you are a great fan of zombie movies.
Mhm.
Okay, so these are the examples. So collective nouns, like as you said, for the word mob. How many of you are familiar with M-O-B, mob? The mob. Yes, Jairus. What is a mob? M-O-B, mob. You may be this word you might have heard from social science textbook. The mob.
Ma'am, a large number of group of people.
The large group of people, large number of people, mob, the mob, M-O-B. Mob means large number of people. Okay. The mob, if it is a collective noun, because it stands for a group of people, right? The mob. So if it is used as a single unit, if the collective noun, if it is used as a single unit, there we need to use a singular verb. Whereas if the mob is mentioned, and if the sentence is the mob scattered, because of the strike, the mob scattered everywhere in the place, There again, the idea scattered is given. So if it is scattered, then you can use a plural. Otherwise, if the collective nouns are used along with the collective noun, the rule says that you can use the singular verb and also you can use the plural verb. There is nothing wrong to use singular and plural verb, but only one condition. When you read the sentence, you have to think about whether this collective noun, it is used in the form of a singular one, like a pride of lions. It is singular, so you can write is. The pride of lion is approaching the camp. There, group of lions together, it is called a pride of lion, is approaching the camp. It's coming to the camp, right, where Lakshmi Nandakumar is residing. Okay, so they are approaching the camp. So there you can use a singular verb. Whereas a pride of lion, after hearing the gunshot, all scattered in the place, means there one lion is standing in front of you, Hira. The other lion is standing in front of you, Thomas. Another one is there with Jairus. Another one, the lioness with Fadil Jahana Firin. So all lions are everywhere scattered. So this gives, even though this is actually a collective noun, this gives us a scattered idea. So then you can use for a plural noun. So here the grammarian says that along with the collective noun, we can use singular verb and plural verb. There is nothing wrong. According to the situation, according to the sentence, you must choose the apt one. If it is scattered, use a plural. If it is together, then you can use it as a singular one. Am I clear? Pooja? Pooja is watching a Pooja over there. Okay, now rule number 8. This is easy. As you all know, here we are talking about where. If in your sentence, if you use the word wish, I wish, wish, right? If you use wish in your sentence, you cannot use the word was. If in your sentence was or were is given and the sentence is actually including a word called wish, then you have to go for using were. I wish I were a bird. I wish it were Sunday. Okay, I wish it were Sunday because Sunday is a holiday. Today is Saturday. The Saturdays are working days. Okay, so I am actually a lazy person. I don't want to be, I don't want to follow the working day system. So I want at least to get one holiday, right? So I wish it were Sunday. That means I wish I want this day, or I wish if I get a Sunday today. Okay, it is not possible. I wish it weren't raining, heavy raining, right? All the dams are open, all the 78 dams are open. Periyar River is okay now. To an extent, it is okay now, but still, I wish it weren't raining. It were not raining, right? It weren't raining. So it shows that there is raining outside. I wish it were Friday, means actually today is Saturday. So I want actually a Friday today, but it is already Saturday. We know that this is Saturday, right? So I wish it were Saturday. So if there is a wish in your sentence, you can, if the options are was or were, there you should go for using only were. You cannot use was there. Clear? Am I clear? So this is 8th rule. 8th rule is a very simple rule. The word were replaces was in sentences that expresses a wish. I wish it were Friday. Actually, it is not a Friday. This is Saturday. I wish I were a bird. I am a human, but I wish I were a bird. Okay. I wish I were rich. I am a beggar. Okay. A beggar, or I am from a very, very low background. So I can say that I wish I were rich enough to be like the Mukesh Ambani, right? I wish I were exactly like Bill Gates, right? Actually from a mediocre family, but I wish I were Mukesh Ambani. I wish I were rich. In reality, I am poor. Okay, clear? You got the concept? So use were, and that can be substituted with the sentence wish in your sentence. Okay. Now, rule number 9. I'll talk about rule number 9, 10, and all other rules in the next class. Thank you, children, for coming here.
Can you show rule number 7?
Sure, sure. I think this board actually needed by some other teacher. So I'll share in the next period. Okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.